art's never been good.
It's
Art
too
style,
hard,
unmotivated,
can't improve,
can't
get a job, can't
make a
afford
living off of this. Hold on a second. Before you try solving all of those problems, ask yourself this question. What makes art fun? In fact, what's the first memory that pops in your head of art being fun? Let's toss this back to the past and try and understand what makes art fun for us. By recreating my own example of this, one of the first memories that pops in my head of art being fun was when I was but an elementary schooler sitting in front of the arcade machine. I saw a picture of Frogger and suddenly decided, hey, I kind of want to draw that. So I sat down and I tried to recreate it. And I had such a blast doing it, and when the drawing was finished, I was so amazed at how closely it looked like the actual picture. And boy, was I proud of myself. But does that make art fun? It's the Lily factor. Ding! Where did we first start pursuing art out of our own desire? Most of the time in early learning scenarios, kids are given arts, crafts, and projects to do. The first time I remember drawing just for my own fun was when I was writing stories to share with my classmates. It was an interesting feeling to create art that portrayed the story in my head. And as I got older and I started drawing to recover from a bad public school experience, I started drawing these little comics, sharing the story of how I was feeling and just helping me recover from that depression I was in. And that was a crucial time for me because then I really started to get into drawing and art. And then I wanted to improve on such things. So the first thing I did is I went to YouTube to watch tutorials on how to draw none other than Sonic characters. So I watched tutorials on drawing 2 of the 3 characters I'm showing here, and then by this one, I just followed a reference photo and then drew of my own accord. I traced the first 2 drawings to draw them again and touch them up so they could be well preserved. This helped fuel and motivate me to continue drawing. Not only that, but I started to feel like I was a pretty good artist, and I drew this drawing here, showed it to my mom, and was like, see, I'm so good, I will never get any better. This is the complete form of my art. Part of the fun of art is also not being your own worst critic. So what did all of that have anything to do with anything? Well, though not considering myself an artist, when I did draw, it was to create stories. And when I drew things other than that, like characters from existing franchises, I drew them because I wanted to continue their story. Or for the Frog and Frogger, I added a little speech bubble and gave it something to say, but I don't have the original drawing to show that. And these memories I've shared of art being fun for me all have a connection. The memory of art being fun and the memories of drawing out of my own desire all had to do with storytelling in some way or form, which is something I love to do. So I connected it through art. That's what got me into it. So for you, what got you into art? What are the connections? What are things you love to do, subjects you love to draw? That all has to do with what makes art fun for you. By following the examples I just gave, factor it into your own life to answer this question. Now, the next thing that contributes to what makes art fun is sharing it. When I was but an elementary schooler, my birthday came rolling around and my sister enlisted her friend Kalia to make some art for me for my birthday, featuring my 2 favorite Sonic characters. During this private conversation between my sister and Kalia, there was a boy who happened to be eavesdropping that my sister knew of but didn't know very well. The next day, this boy walks up to my sister and hands her this slip of paper and says, "Give this to your sister for her birthday." So thanks, Jose. Unexpected, but much appreciated. So for both of these very talented artists, they were both challenged in drawing these presents for me, as Jose had never drawn Blaze the Cat before, and Kalia had never drawn Silver the Hedgehog before, so kind of funny how that worked. But these drawings meant a lot to me and really inspired me. So I was inspired by Kalia to draw Blaze the Cat as a cat like she did, and to draw a similar Silver to Jose's drawing. So you could see how artistically we all kind of inspired each other. So what are some instances for you where art was shared between you and someone else, whoever was the artist, whether it was you or them, that was a positive and fun memory for you? I find that collaboration and sharing art with other artists is both inspiring and educational. It helps you improve. For example, my dear cousin Kat. She was one of the first artists that inspired me growing up, and I always wanted to draw like her. So one time we drew together, we got to keep each other's artwork, and the artwork I kept of hers, I traced and recreated to learn how to draw like her, because I just wanted to draw like her so bad. And it definitely helped me learn things like drawing folds and skirts, pony legs, and spiky hair. But those drawings my cousin made with me was actually a really fun and important time where we had really started to get to know each other, and I had just started an interest in drawing and animation and storytelling, and we were talking and we kind of learned that we both have kind of the same dream of making animated television series someday. So we played a game where we both pitched TV show ideas, and we had a bunch of really bad ideas and that were cliche and stuff, and then we had, you know, our own TV show ideas that we pitched. So you can probably guess which ones we invested in. Having a fellow artist like my cousin definitely helped inspire me and made art fun. Now let's say you don't have artist friends or family, or your sibling doesn't have artist friends. Well, what a friend we have in Jesus. There's so much inspiration to take in creation all around you. You can get inspired even from strangers like Jose. But this is where you have to make your own fun in art. And a good example of that is redraws. What are some drawings you've made that when you made them at that time, they were drawings you just could stare at for hours because you were so proud of what you did? Well, redraw them. And it doesn't mean you have to apply like this seriousness, like I have to redraw this to perfection so I can show how much I've improved and be really impressive. No, just have fun redrawing it and look back on it and appreciate your younger self for what they were trying to do, and look at it and go, ha, look what I can do now. But that can help make your own fun on art, is really collaborating with yourself and recreating something you've made. With some fun points to think about, there's also things you should think about avoiding, and that's being your own worst critic. If I got a nickel for every time I've heard somebody say this thing I'm about to say, I would have a lot of nickels. And it's this, that I hear people say, oh, I always wanted to be an artist, but I've never been very good at it, and I can't draw. And let me just say, if that's what's stopping you from creating, then you clearly didn't really want to be an artist from the get-go. I learned growing as an artist that it is a matter of growth. I learned that you don't have to be an art prodigy born with this gift of art. It's something that you can definitely grow and improve on if you have the desire to, and if you want to keep at it. So you also got to not be your own worst critic when you're actually trying to draw and trying to improve. Don't compare yourself to others and say, if only I was this good, and just being all negative all the time. Instead, be like younger Lily, where she thought, I can't possibly get any better than this. Not in a negative way. I mean, you don't have to be arrogant necessarily, but definitely treat yourself like you want to be treated as an artist. Don't be your worst critic. Instead, let the colors splatter onto the canvas. Be innovative, creative. Don't confine yourself to a box. Just draw for the fun of it. Just create for the fun of it. Don't set up expectations. Don't let other people set your expectations. Instead, make your art fun. So ultimately, cracks down to this, where we've given some ideas, we've thought about what makes our art fun. And so, do we have the answer? Thank you so much for watching, and may God bless you in your life and your art. I leave you with this question: what makes your art fun?